Welcome, everyone, to It's Time to Excel, where we inspire and we ignite the possibilities that are all around us. We're so glad that you're here, and we're hoping that as we've been talking in February, we've been really focusing in on figuring out where our money's going. What kind of drains are out there? What are we doing to manage our money? So let's have some fun with that. Let's actually have a little bit of fun and say, okay, let's take this one step further. Let's start training our money. How's that sound? Yes, I'm a little crazy. We've already figured this out as we are going. But that being the case, I do want to welcome you because after all, it is time to excel. And we are just so thankful that you're here. And I just look forward to working with you guys. Please drop in the comments, say hi, let me know you're out there. Hopefully I can make this thing work. I'm having a little camera issues, but you know what? We're just going to roll with it. We're just going to roll with it. It's all good. We're going to make it happen, and we're just going to keep on going. So today what I want to focus on is talking about managing your money, training your money. So of course, you guys are pretty well aware. I've got a few extra four-legged children, like four of them, and it's always an adventure around here. It is absolutely an adventure most days. We have from the old man who's been around 16 years down to the 7-month-old puppy and the teenagers in between. It's great. One never knows around here what's going to happen, how things are going to go, and what direction we're going on. So I often share the story about trying to take Winston for a walk. Winston's the puppy, and he's a lab puppy. So for those of you who are familiar with dog breeds, labs are insane. They're crazy. They have no calm in their DNA ever. And they're just nuts. 110 miles an hour all the time till they crash and burn. Then they're out for a couple hours, maybe if you're lucky, and they're back up and running again. So thinking about this, if I'm out for a walk, I'm usually exhausted by the time we get back because my little cute adorable puppy is running here, running there, going after a braided glass, going after a butterfly, going after an imaginary leaf or something that went in front of his face, goes darting here, darting there. He's all over the place. It's just all over the place. Is your money all over the place? Just a question. Is your money all over the place as well? Does it end up happening like I'm trying to walk Winston and next thing I know, I have no idea what direction he's going in. I'm just trying to go straight ahead and he's going every other way except the direction that we want. That being the case, it makes it a little bit challenging some days. How do I get him to behave? How do I do this? How can I make this work? How can I train him, basically? Have you ever tried to train a puppy? There's a couple key things that ends up happening. One, you got to be consistent. Absolutely. Consistency is key. You can't expect him to know exactly what you're talking about, but you can learn to communicate the same language. You can actually train him. A lot of times you see these dogs that are just so well behaved. I'm still working on it, just saying. But we're out there running. Things are going crazy. Consistency. So if I always say before you get your bowl of food that you must sit, guess what happens before very long? As I walk into the room to put the food down, guess who's sitting? It can be done, but it does take consistency. That is one of the biggest keys. And I'm going to challenge you. Think about your money situation. If you consistently know exactly where your money's going, consistently, you're tracking your numbers. You guys hear me talking about this all the time. You are tracking those numbers and then consistently looking at those numbers to see what they're telling you. Before long, when you walk in the room, your money is going to be behaving itself because you're going to know exactly what's going on. You won't even have to talk to it very much. Just like I don't have to say a whole lot to Winston when I walk in with that bowl of food. He's sitting there on the floor, butt down, tail wagging, waiting for me to put that on the floor. And then his head's going 100 miles an hour up and down because he knows if he picks his bum up, I pick the food up. If you can maintain that consistency when it comes to your money, you will have the same results as when I walk into the door. He sits his bum down and we are ready to go. That's one of the things that I want to encourage you. Let's think about a couple other things. We're talking about these numbers, and I always talk about success being in the numbers. So as we're looking at some of these things, software can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. So that's the one thing that I want to focus in on today as far as talking about training your money, because you need a system that's going to help you to know what's going on. In contrast, I take Winston for a walk. I'm exhausted. I'm still working on that one. It is what it is. Some days good, some days not so good, some days worse than others. But as I said, there's no calm in that DNA. He is just 110 miles an hour nonstop. Flip side being, I take Bear out for a walk. I walk him through the yard. He stands right next to me. We go through it. He very rarely pulls, which is probably a good thing because Bear's about 86 pounds. He's a big boy. And if he pulls too hard, I'm probably going to be dragged behind him. But he doesn't do that. What's the difference? What's the difference? Training. I've had a little more time with him, first of all. And I have been working with him over the last year and a half. So we have been working together. And what my expectations are, we practice, we repeat, we're consistent. So every time I take him out on a leash, whether it's just to go out to the bathroom or whether it's out for and I can't say the word, a W-O-K, because if I do, the 4 calm dogs that are at my feet will be going ballistic. So just roll with me. If we go out for that W-A-L-K, he's much calmer because he knows what the expectation is. If he starts to tug, I just gently pop the leash. I don't even have to really pull it. It's just kind of a little bit of a resistance. And it's an And guess what? He's right next to me again, and off we go. He's actually pretty fun to take for a walk. It actually makes a difference. Oh, I'm in trouble. I didn't say that word. But I want you to think about it when it comes to your money as well. If you're willing to be consistent and train and start working through that, there's such a difference between Winston and Bear. And what's that difference? Me taking the time to be consistent, the time to put the work in. Because ultimately, by doing that, I can actually save time and energy because he's behaving. I have actually trained him what my expectation is. And now, when we go out for that fun little time, it's actually enjoyable for us both. That doesn't mean he doesn't find a leaf or two to go chase. He is a dog. Think about your money as well. If you're willing to take that time and effort and be consistent, and you're willing to get a system in place, what a difference that can make in your business. So, softwares, there's a boatload out there. There's a boatload of software out there. I always talk about you can go as simple as pen and paper, not so much for me. You can get a spreadsheet if you're just getting started out, start somewhere. Let the math be done by the spreadsheet, as long as you understand the formulas. Or invest in a software. You guys know my specialty is Course QuickBooks Online. And that is what I have found to be super, super useful. And one of the main things I like about it is the reporting. I've talked about that before. Because I want to make sure I can train my money. So how do I do that? How in the world do I do that? Because success is in the numbers. Let's face facts. I need to know what income I have. I need to know what sources those incomes are coming in from. So let's use mine as an example. I have training and consulting. Sometimes I'm just doing straight training with folks. Other times I'm doing consulting with them, and we're really digging into their books. And then also accounting services. So I now have 3 layers of income. My success is knowing how much income is coming in from all of those sources, because I haven't figured out how to make more than 24 hours in a day. So if I only have 24 hours in a day, and I do need to sleep a little bit, and the boys are a little demanding occasionally, so considering all that, it kind of shrinks down that 24 hours a little bit. I need to know what makes sense. Where should I be spending my money? Or where would I be spending my time, so that as my business grows, I'm equating my time with the income coming in. I need to know what's going on. Success is in the numbers, but I need some kind of a software to be able to assist me with that. And we're going to use QuickBooks as an example, because I always do, because I know that one. That's my little baby as we're going. Excel used to be my second language. QuickBooks is kind of coming up there now as we're going. Because one of the biggest things that I want is the fact that I want to know my numbers. I need to know that, but on the flip side of the income, I need to know my expenses. And I need some kind of software that's going to help me to do that. So it's just part of running the business, but I need to track that. I may be out and I may end up grabbing this or grabbing that. Oh, I forgot. Whoa, wait a minute. We got to make sure we track that. And I do mean every single penny. As it happens, using QuickBooks is a great way. You can receipt snap it. gets it into your system, you bring your receipt home, you drop it into a folder. I always use the expandable folder example. That's just what I do. It works. It's simple. I don't have to think as hard. Becomes consistent. That's the trick. Consistency. You're constantly doing the same thing so that it becomes a habit, and a habit turns into reports that you actually can look at and to read and to analyze so that your numbers start talking to you. And more importantly, you start telling your money and training your money what to do. Thinking about that. What are some of those reports that you got to look at? The P&L, profit and loss, income statement. I don't care what you call it. What income's coming in, what expenses are going out, and which one's higher. You need to know that. You need to know that. That is vital to the success of your business. And it's the only way you're going to start training money. But you need to take it one step further. And that one step further is with the budget. My dreaded 4-letter word, the budget. And what are you doing with that? That is simply a plan. Because if you're going to start training your money, you need to know what you expect of it. So let's take a step back. As you're thinking about it, beginning of the month, you're going to look at your month and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to bring in, let's use round figures because I don't really want to do math right now, $10,000 in the month. I think I can handle that math. And I know $5,000 of expenses in a month. As I said, simple math. That gives me $5,000 profit. Well, that's fine and dandy. I want to take it one further step. I want to say, okay, what am I doing with that 5,000? That 5,000 profit. I know out of the 10 that's coming in, 5 of it's going to be expensed out. The other 5, what am I doing with that? Now, keep in mind, this is just the budget. This is just the plan. This is what I'm hoping is going to happen. No, I'm not hoping. I'm designing and I'm starting to train it so that it will happen. I get there and I start looking, okay, well, I know I'm going to have some expenses that are coming up in the future. I have insurance that I've got to pay. Maybe I start pulling some of that money out and putting it over to what I call my committed expenses. By doing that, I have a separate account. So I'm moving X amount of dollars. Isn't it much easier to take a $1,200 insurance bill and chunk away $100 every month? Or would you prefer in August to come out with $1,200? I don't know about you, but I don't want that stress. So that's one thing we can do because success is in the numbers. And if I'm planning for this, guess what? It's sitting there and I just pay my bill. I can start training my money because I am training it that it's going to go to this other account because it's already spent. Think about it. It can be that simple. Not easy, just simple. And that's what I want to encourage you to do. I want you to take that step back and I want you to train your money. Train it so that it works for you, not against you. Train it by being consistent and consistently taking the time and making it a priority in your life and your business. It makes all the difference because the bottom line is success is in the numbers. You can't get to the numbers if you don't take the time up front to get it tracked, to get it into a system. And what's the best system for you? The one that you're going to use. Simple as that. That's what I want to encourage you to do because you can, after all, train your money. And one of the biggest drains that happens on small business owners is their money's everywhere. They're Winston when it comes to money, and they're chasing things left and right. They have no idea where their money is being spent or what money's coming in and when, because that's a key as well. Do your clients pay immediately or when your job's done? Does the job take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 2 months? You need to know that. That makes a big difference. Once again, how are you tracking that? You track it into a system, a software that's going to give you the reports you need to make data-driven decisions, not emotional ones. Because when you're chasing, trying to catch those dollars as they're flying by, just like Winston's chasing those lovely imaginary leaves 9 times out of 10, or grabbing a stick, or grabbing at this, or running down over here, if you're constantly chasing, you're going to be exhausted. And there's no way that you can be successful long-term with that type of an option. So I encourage you to start training your money. If you'd like to learn more and actually apply this, I would love to invite you over to the Lunch and Learn this one. We're going to actually talk in depth in an interactive workshop fashion the top 3 money drains that face small business owners and specific ways that you can overcome it. I talked briefly about the software and once you start thinking on a high level, because I want you to start training your money. But more importantly, let's look at the drains and let's look at how we can take those drains and get them plugged. There are some simple steps that you actually can do, and we're going to target 3 of them. Just interactive format, you know I love to have that option, just have that interactive. So we are going to jump over to Zoom. I want to encourage you to go out to janetickets.com if you have not been out there onto the new website. Jump on out there and click on events and make sure you're registered so that you have your link to join us here just in about 12 minutes. We're going to go jump over from 12 to 12:30 and we are going to dive into the top money drains and simple steps that we can do to overcome them so that you can set yourself up and start training your money. And as a fun little quiz at the end of it, we're going to find out exactly what type of money trainer you are. Looking forward to seeing you. Make sure that you go out to janetickets.com and go to the events tab and simply register for the Lunch and Learn. I so look forward to seeing you over there, and let's have some fun and start training our money today. Looking forward to seeing you. Take care, everyone, and it's your time to excel. Join us here next week as we inspire and ignite the possibilities that are all around us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. See you soon.